as a vendor, how do I trust this escrow so much to have them handle my money?
We realized after a while that the biggest problem that e-commerce vendors face or like online businesses face is that of trust. We struggle with that. We do payments on delivery, we get scammed. Our first scammer came from Ijegun. We delivered a face vacuum to this guy, and he just stopped picking calls and they blocked us everywhere.
Mm-mm.
When I reached out to him on WhatsApp, he swore for me.
Ah.
I'm like, oh, that's what I do for you.
Hi guys, welcome to another. Did I just rock my chair? Wow! Welcome to another amazing episode of Secret Behind the Scenes. Now, I feel like every entrepreneur in Nigeria, in Africa, I dare say in the world, should really be given the whole bush, not just the flowers, because it takes a lot to start a business, to run a business. I mean, especially in this part of the world, it is hard. And then when you come across people who say that they're serial entrepreneurs, I go crazy because I'm like, how are you able to do this business and that business and that business and still stay sane? You know, it is really interesting. And today on the show, I have a very interesting guest. He is a businessman. And I dare say also a serial entrepreneur. And I mean, this is a chit chat. To be fair, we'll just be talking and jesting about, you know, what he does, his businesses, and just how he navigates, you know, the business space, and those things that we don't see, those secret tears that these people cry. Because I believe that they cry a lot because it's hard. It's hard to run a business in Nigeria. I've tried, and I know that is not for me. I'm just like, you know what? No, I'd rather stay and be paid. But yeah, it is what it is. I have the brain behind Middleman in the studio with me. He goes by the name Adeola. This is me trying not to pronounce his surname because I feel like I'm going to make a mess of it.
Owosho.
So Adeola, what's your surname again?
Owosho.
That's it. So welcome to the show.
I thank you.
Thank you for coming.
It's nice to be here.
It's nice to be here, see you, meet you. You look really spluffic. You smell good.
Thank
you look
you.
expensive. I like your wristwatch.
I'm not expensive, but thank you.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you
So,
much. I appreciate it.
I just like to always get in the heads of my guests a little bit before we, you know, get into their fancy lives, because I feel like, for the person that you are now, that was the genesis, right? So for Adeola, did you always think that, you know what, I'm going to be a businessman and an astute one at that, or was it just happenstance for you?
Okay, I mean, so I think we all grew up wanting to be doctors and
Engineers and
and lawyers and engineers and
Tell me about it.
accountants. I think I started. Okay, so I did not always know. In
Mm.
fact, no one in my family that I'm close to has ever like run a company, right? I mean, my mom used to sell, provisions, milk, Milo, and stuff. She had a very big shop. After like 3 months, we would have eaten everything in the
Oh,
shop.
wow.
So she'll pack it up again, and maybe after like another year, she would. So I wouldn't exactly say she ran a business.
Right.
I mean, she mostly just
Tried.
yeah, she tried. She did not, when you're earning and like it was good for daily money. Do you get? So I mean, you have money, you don't want to save it. You just need to like run a business, and but we usually finish all the noodles and the spaghetti
Oh.
before. Yeah, so I did not grow up with the entrepreneurship mindset. I did not at all.
Okay.
I think I okay. So fast forward to school. I didn't exactly sell anything in school. No, I did not. It was mostly studies. I mean, my mom was always breathing down my neck. She wanted me to have a first class. She loved it. I don't know what was about first class, but she really loved it. So I spent a lot of time in the library, ninth class. So I didn't do any business. I didn't finish first class, by the way. I started with it, but I did not finish. I did not finish with it. Yeah. So, but I would say my first rodeo in entrepreneurship started in 2018 when I went for Akialabi's conference. I don't know. There's this conference he used to do Yeko 4. That's a youth enterprise conference at Eco Hotels, right? So when I was fresh out of school, I was looking for stuff to do after school because I mean I knew during my final year project that biochemistry was not my way, I just know that there's no future in this thing for me. Right? It was the most. I think it's one of the toughest things. One of the most stressful moments of my life,
Wow.
my final year project, and I just did not, you know. Yeah, so started with yeah, so at this conference, I can be talked about what's it called now? It talked about pretty much how to make money as young people, right? And then there was this guy he brought on who also at the session, Tony Motosho. So he gave us a book. The title of the book was Where the Money Is in 2019 and How to Get It, right? So I think yeah, that was like my first. That was my first. What's it called now? Exposure to
Exposure.
like okay, selling something, running a business, making money from from sales, right? Yeah. So I mean, after that, we it talked about a mini importation, right? So I learned how to import stuff from China, run ads, build websites, yeah, and then I tried to sell a bunch of stuff, tried to build a sneakers brand called Luciferin from not from Lucifer. I mean, story for story for another day.
Mm.
So I tried to build that. Try to sell. I tried to build a shoelaces brand. There was some really nice shoelaces I tried to sell to back in the days. So I had a bunch of different stuff here and there.
Yeah.
But then my journey into tech also started around that time,
Okay.
right? So I mean, tech was working, and I was earning a salary from tech, while I was trying to figure out my entrepreneurship journey. So I would say, as much as I am a business person, I've done business for the better part of the last 6 years.
Okay.
But I've also built a career in product marketing. That's tech product marketing,
Right.
right? Yeah. So not only product. Okay, career product marketing, but I'm sort of you can call me a generalist because I know. I mean, because I worked my first. I spent the first 4 years of my career with a tech training school, called Utiva, right? So, and we taught people tech skills ranging from product management, product marketing, data analytics, what else? Product design, cybersecurity, cloud computing, QA, name it. So I sort of have like a surface level knowledge of tech, on the general on the general scale.
Mm.
But I've focused mostly on marketing.
Right.
Yeah.
I also like that you mentioned that you had tried a couple of things, even though you were, working in tech and you were earning like a
Mm.
salary, but you did try a couple of stuff. Why did you keep trying? Did what was the because I feel like for you to have tried this and it didn't work and tried this and it didn't work and whatever,
Mm.
and you kept trying, then there was something that you were saying that maybe nobody else was saying. So why did you think that, I need to, because you were earning decent money from tech according to you.
Mm.
And you could have also decided, you know what, I beg, let me just, keep doing this and just, keep earning my money. But was it a legacy thing or, I feel like I can still make more money from like entrepreneur? What is it about business?
Okay, so I think I would say that um I like building stuff,
Mm.
right? And I like okay, no. Okay, so there's a part of building stuff, there's also the part of freedom, right? So I think I'm not sure. Or I mean, by now I should be sure. Well, I think I think I'm a very I love being able to live life on my own terms. I've
Mm.
been able to just like to just do my own thing, right? And it has shaped my career so far, right? So my first job with Utiva back in the back in between 2017 and 2021 was not exactly, I mean, it was a job, but it didn't feel like a job. It felt like we were building a company together,
Mm.
right? So Itayo came to school. I met him when I was in school, campus ambassador, and then after school, I was first a friend of the company, and then I started, working with them, just doing one or two things here and there, and yeah, and then we started to launch a tech training school, and I was just a part of it,
Mm.
right? So as much as it was a job, I would call him Egbon. Do you get it? It wasn't good morning, sir. How are you, sir?
Right.
Do you get it? It was like I felt like a co-founder,
Mm.
right? Even though I didn't have equity or anything. Do you
Mm.
understand? Yeah. So and I think it also affected. It also like played a major impact on how people even perceive. I mean, a lot of people thought I was a co-founder at Utiva. In fact, people would call me Adeola. Till today, I still get calls, from people, who reach out to say, hey, they want to learn. I'm like, I left Utiva in 2021. Why are you still calling me? Right. So, I sort of built my entire identity around Utiva, and people thought I was a co-founder. So, yeah. So that also so that's because I had that freedom, I would call later as 2 a.m. in the morning that after I'm thinking of this thing, can we implement it? Do you get it? He would call me at 4 a.m. and we'll have calls till like 7 a.m., just discussing, and just so it wasn't exactly a 9 to 5. So I think that 4-year experience sort of shaped, how I thought I wanted to build my career, right? So even after I left Utiva and, joined another friend in building a real estate company, Uvest, it was still the same thing, right? So it was like a friendship thing. I was earning a salary from it, but it was more of a co-founding thing. Of course, minus the equity, right? So when I left Uvest in 20, what am I saying as if it has been long? Just last year, November. When I left last year, I knew that okay, it was time to go build my own thing. I mean, I've been doing business on the side. We ran Venia Skin during COVID, made good money during COVID. Okay, let's say after COVID, because our flights did not work for a long time, for about 3 months. At least cargo did not land. The airlines were not working. Yeah, so when our package dropped around, when we were able to clear our goods around, I think June, within those 6 months we did really good money. So I started this e-commerce thing since 2018, 2019. It didn't work for like 2 years, but 2020 was when it's now picked up. So since then Amolara is my co-founder currently at Middleman, and we were at that Yeco 4 conference together. So we've been doing everything together.
Oh, wow.
Really, yeah. So for the last 6 years, I don't think there's any business I've done that she hasn't been a part of. Yeah. We've just been doing a bunch of stuff. So Venia Skin is the business that we did in COVID. Yeah. So Venia Skin started to make sense. We were selling face what's it called now?
Masks?
Face masks, face vacuums, so like beauty tools. Yeah, beauty tools. And then after a while, I started to discover my love for. Okay, we also sold lamps, 3D lamps, with Mazzini. So we're running both brands at the same time. No, we started Mazzini in 2021. So it was just Venia between June and December 2020. Then Mazzini in 2021. So we were selling lamps, and then we realized that so we realized that a lot of people that were buying our lamps. So they were 3D lamps, really beautiful, cute lamps. A lot of people that were buying these lamps were using it to like decorate their workspaces, like their work desks at home. And there were also a lot of tech people. So like, okay, why don't we just branch off and add more products to the catalog and sell over workplace tools or workplace accessories. So we decided to design what's it called now? The monitor-risers, what's it called now? Headphone stands, all the aesthetic stuff that you used to, to used to beautify your workspace. So yeah, we did that. We did those two for a while. I think 2021, 2022. It was just last year that we decided that okay, so Middleman sort of came from this experience, right? So we realized after a while that we realized from the beginning. It's not after a while. But from the beginning, that the biggest problem that e-commerce vendors face or like online businesses face is that of trust, right? And if I sell something online and I run ads, if I spend 100K on ads, for example, and 100 people reach out to say, hey, I want this, probably just sell 10, probably eventually just make 10 sales, right? Or 9 or 5, right? Because the remaining, 90, maybe not 90, so let's say people are not serious, right? But the remaining people did not trust enough to make payments upfront, right? So we struggle with that. We'll do payments on delivery, we'll get scammed. There's this neighborhood in Lagos I ate till today. Our first scammer came from there.
Really?
Ijegun.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and so we delivered a face vacuum to this guy, and he just stopped picking calls, and they blocked us everywhere. When I reached out to him on WhatsApp, he swore for me. And I'm like, oh, that's what I do for you. So that was like my first experience. Okay,
Yeah.
interesting.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so business are really going through it, and I mean, so every time
And this was payments on delivery. So
payments,
you, so you used to do
payments
payments
on
on
delivery.
delivery
Yes, yes, within Lagos.
within Lagos.
Yeah.
Okay.
So no, the crazy thing
What?
about 3 more people that ordered from Ijegun also scammed us.
Oh, wow. Is it an Ijago thing? What are you guys doing? What are you guys drinking in Ijago?
I don't understand.
Wow.
But yeah, so after a while, anyone who saw Ijegun, I was like, don't
No,
worry,
we're not
it's not
delivering.
available. It's no longer available.
That's
Yeah, so
interesting.
it was yeah, so payment on delivery was like a very huge problem, and it really limited our growth, and it limited our ability to scale because we could not scale outside of Lagos, right? I mean, for example, if you want to imagine someone in Enugu or in Maduguri or Benue State ordering for your product, you're scared. If it's Lagos, you know that okay, at least if anything sup, I still feel enter motor, go the place, say how far, where my money. But I will come out for Lagos, go Benue, go ask for hey, do you get? So it was very very risky to sell outside of Lagos. And that's, I mean, so we couldn't scale our ads. When we're running targeted ads, we mostly do,
Lagos.
just Lagos. Sometimes at some point, it got so frustrating that we had to do our location within 10 miles
Oh, wow.
of just our location. Do you get? So that the ads doesn't it doesn't go too far. Yeah, and so that we don't get a lot of orders from outside that we cannot fulfill. Yeah, so it was tough. It was very tough. I mean, at some points we found ways around it. We would have fulfillment centers or distributors in this. Maybe we had a lady in Ibadan who was my namesake, Adeola. Would send her like 20 products at a time. We had someone also for was it Edo State or something for Edo State? Was someone in Abuja, right? So we'd send them products. So whenever we had orders, the rider will pick up from them and deliver. At some point, we started using GIG also. In fact, that was one of our most traumatic experiences.
Oh, wow.
Not GIG as a brand. The fact that if you offered payments on delivery, the customers would sometimes refuse to pick up their goods from the GIG office. No, GIG will usually not do. I mean, not
Door to door.
door to door. Yeah, I think at the time they were not doing door to door. I mean, they did for some locations, but not nationwide, right? So, they would either refuse to go pick up the goods from the GIG store and it would just be stuck there. I mean, and sometimes we have them send it back. Sometimes it was just very messy. If you use public transport, it will be stuck at the park and they won't pick up. Sometimes the GIG will go to their doorstep, they won't respond. Some even receive it, they won't send you money. Like, it was messy. It was very messy. And I think March last year, was it March now? Yeah, I think February, March last year, I was like, what, I'm like, this e-commerce thing, it doesn't seem to be. I mean, where's the future in this? I mean, we could keep trying, probably, do some money. We probably do 1 million profit, 2 million profits in a month, but it wasn't exact, and the exchange rate was not also encouraging, right? So I mean, we would order products today at 400 per dollar. By the time you sell it off in 2 months, dollar is already 550. Do you get? All the profit you've made from the sales, would just go back into getting new stock. Like, the profit was not clear anymore. So it's like, there's no point doing this thing anymore. Why don't we try and solve this problem instead? Like the trust problem, the payment on delivery problem. Yeah. So that's why we're like, Middleman. Yeah. So that's where Middleman came from.
So I kind of like the idea. Now I want to know what Middleman is all about, because what some of us learned in school, so there is consumer, there's consumer, of course, there is what's the word? Person who produces and then there's
the manufacturer.
The manufacturer, and then there's the retailer, wholesaler, right? So I'm then trying to take that, what's the word, thesis, or that into what it is that you're doing now. So there is the person who is selling, and there is me who has ordered, who is the consumer.
Yeah.
And then you're saying that you're in the middle, and you're going to help bridge the gap of trust, in the sense that, okay, I don't trust these guys to send my money before, so I don't get scammed. and they don't trust that. Listen, you're going to pay if it comes.
Yeah.
So what are we going to do? So how do you fix that? I'm curious to know.
Okay. So so Middleman is purely fintech,
Okay.
right? To a large extent, we are fintech. So what I mean, so if you think about it deeply, the real problem is trust, is lack of trust,
Yes.
right? And lack of trust that the value will be exchanged. Is appropriately the word? Not appropriately. The value will be exchanged seamlessly,
Mm-hmm.
right? So what Middleman does is we hold the money.
Mm.
So when we started Middleman, we've been running for about October, about 4 months now.
Okay.
We tried to just stay out of the business and just focus on the money, right? So the way it works, let me quickly explain the way it works. The way it works is vendors sign up, right? If vendor signs up on Middleman, they have an account. What they then do is whenever a what's it called now?
Okay.
Whenever a buyer wants to buy something, from them, and buyer's like, hey, I don't trust you to deliver, and like, okay, I also don't trust you to pay on delivery. The idea is that the vendor will say, okay, if you don't trust to pay directly into my bank account, pay into my Middleman wallet. Do you get? So the way it works is the buyer, of course, so we design Middleman to mirror how transactions happen in real life, that is on social media, like social commerce, right? So the usual pattern is, okay, send your name, address, and phone number, right? And then they send you their account number. That's how it works. One person online, that's how it works.
Mm-hmm.
So the buyer sends their name, address, phone number.
Mm-hmm.
So the vendor now uses that to create a payment on the Middleman app. So let's role play it.
Mm-hmm.
You want to buy from me,
Mm-hmm.
you want to buy a pair of sneakers, and it's
Mhm.
20,000 naira. And I tell you, okay, pay it from Middleman wallet. And you're like, okay, yeah, that's better. That makes me feel safer. So you send me your name, phone number, and email address, and your address,
Mhm.
right? So once you send it to me, I use it to create a payment on the app. So creating a payment on the Middleman app is literally generating an account number.
Right.
Right. So once you put in those details, we have the system maps, like it generates an account number for that customer.
Okay.
Do you get, for that particular transaction? So you also put in the amount you want to receive. Do you get? So once you tap on it, it shows you the account details, and it now also sends the customer a release code and a dispute link.
Okay.
Right, and also of course the account details to pay into, so that they can confirm that it's the same. So that I can confirm that it's the same one that the vendor sends to them,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because if a fraudulent vendor can send you an account number and claim it is Middleman account.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So the vendor sends the account number, but the buyer also confirms, so he gets the account number, and then a release code, a 4-digit release code, and a unique dispute link for that transaction.
Mm.
So when they get that, so we call that the payment prompt. So when they get that, it's like that's like the trust, really, because now they know that, okay, this person has now when I send money to this account, the vendor will get it, but he can't withdraw it until I give him this code.
Oh.
Do you get?
That's
So
what the release code is for.
yeah, the release code, exactly.
Gotcha.
So when the vendor so of course the buyer will now proceed to send money into the account, and then we get an alert. They'll see it in the Middleman wallet that, okay, I have a 20k credit, but if they try to, but it's just on the account, they can't withdraw it, so it's held in escrow. So they will then go ahead and deliver the product. So when they deliver, all is good, the buyer sends them the code, they
And they
withdraw.
got their money.
Yeah, they can withdraw the money, and it's instant, right? And if all is not also well, the dispute link in the email, they can just click that dispute link, to log a dispute, and
About the product,
yeah,
maybe.
yes, about the product or the transaction
the
generally or
transaction,
whatever.
whatever.
Yeah. So and then we also have our dispute resolution policies and arrangements that takes care and make sure that both parties are happy. Right. So but now things have changed a little. So I mean, usually, so what we've realized over the last couple of months now is that when people when I hear about Middleman, they keep asking, okay, so what if the vendor, so the buyer doesn't release the code after they've gotten the product? I mean, because vendors also are scared of. So what we now built in is an automatic release after 24 hours, right? So if I deliver a product to you, and for some reason I'm not able to reach you to give me the dispute, the release code, perhaps your phone died or you got ill or whatever, you got kidnapped, right? So after 24 hours, the platform will automatically release the money to me as long as you don't log a dispute. Do you get? So if you don't log a dispute, it will assume that okay, that's all is well, and the money will be triggered and released automatically. Yeah, so that's one improvement we've made. Over lately, I think that was in December. But the feature that we just launched this morning, before I left, was a shipping feature delivery. So I know I said earlier that we wanted to just stay out of the business and just focus on the money, but we also realized that um that it helps vendors to be able to also deliver, like to also like book a delivery product immediately, because shipping is also like a big issue, like delivery and logistics. It's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, there are lots of players, but for some reason, when the delivery is not within your immediate locality, it's still pretty tough, right? So we connected with there's this aggregator platform that has aggregated a lot, about 80 something different logistic companies, GIG, DHL, FedEx, name it, Quick, GoCard, all of them. They are they're like aggregated in one platform, right? So usually when you create a payment, you can also deliver. So once you put in the address, it will bring up, you can compare rates, right? So to bring up like 3, 4, 5 different logistics companies that can make that delivery.
And this is for the seller.
Yes, for the seller.
Right.
So we built solely for the seller because we realized that, so for social commerce, we realized that that going the wallet to wallet transfer route might not work, right? Because okay, so imagine you want to buy from me now, and then I'm telling you to go and download an app. It's like I'm just stressing you,
Yeah, of course.
right?
I won't do it.
Yeah, you won't. You just be like, I beg. Right. So downloading an app, creating an account, now funding that wallet, and then sending me money like wallet to wallet. That's what a lot of our competitors. I shouldn't be saying this on camera.
It's okay.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's working for you, but yeah. So people are just are more. What's the
The
word?
easier the better.
Yeah, the better. Yeah. So we forgot, they just stick with bank transfers. Some other guys are building, and I'm cheering them on. To be honest, we need a lot of players in this space because this escrow idea is not mainstream yet. And I mean, the more people embrace the idea of escrow, the better or easier it is for, or the faster the growth of e-commerce in Nigeria on a national level, right? So some other guys are also building payment links. That is, the vendor will create a payment link for you. You have to click the link and go and check out. Put in your card details and check out. We also felt, this is also still, you're taking them out of their Instagram. I mean, someone is scrolling.
What's
they
I
see a
leave
pair of
Instagram? I'm
shoes.
sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we figured, let's just do bank transfer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've seen reasonable traction since we launched.
I was gonna ask that.
Yeah.
How's it been?
Yeah, it's been pretty well.
It's 4 months, right?
It's been 4 months. In 4 months, I mean, we are closing in on 500 vendors at the moment. I mean, that's not a very significant number, but I mean, we're spending a lot of time, solidifying the product, right, and preparing for scale. And I mean, we're also poor. We don't have a lot of marketing budgets at the moment. I mean, we're probably going to start raising pre-seed in under 1 or 2 months. Right, we raised family and friends. We raised some money, couple $1,000. Family and friends, like angel round, but we will start raising again soon. But then there is rumor on the word on the street is that one of the big banks in Nigeria is currently building escrow.
Yeah.
And I heard that their product manager is looking at Middleman like this. Well, I hope they build it right, because I mean, I should be threatened, really, because when a bank comes to
It's
compete with
behind,
you,
yes.
no, no, not okay. So usually I should be thinking, when a bank comes to the market, they can, bully you out, because they have bigger funds. But I think for me, the I'm more it's sort of like a social impact. I mean, of course, the goal is to make profit, but it's sort of like a cause for me, like, to solve the event on delivery problem,
Mm.
right? So I'm actually very enthusiastic about, this bank launching their products, and coming to the market with, like, a couple billion naira marketing budget, and plastering billboards all over the country, and getting people there. So I feel like the first audio that we need to scale is that of um what's the word now,
Acceptance,
acceptability.
yes.
Yeah, acceptance. Yeah, sorry.
Mm.
Yeah, so if people accept the idea of escrow, like, by the time we get vendors and buyers to the point where they can't do transactions online without asking, which escrow do you use,
Mm-hmm.
do you get? So I think if you can get there, it opens up the market.
Yeah.
Then, I mean, people. So we smaller players that
Mm.
haven't raised $1 million, $2 million yet, you know, can now come in and compete, because no, then we can do a lot. We can play a lot of comparison games, that we can, like a lot of comparison marketing,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, comparison game in terms of marketing, and
Marketing.
say, hey, we're better than when my bank. Shit,
Yeah.
we're better than this bank. Oh, you do it put porn on this part?
Yes, please, you have to. I have a lot of questions
Yeah.
because I like that you mentioned trust, right?
Mm.
And now I'm thinking of the because now I have really dissected the products in my head, and that's something I like to do. So when I
Yeah.
hear these things, I like to simplify it for
Yeah.
myself, so that
Mhm.
if I'm explaining to somebody else, it doesn't sound like jargons, right?
Mhm.
So I have done that, and it's a beautiful idea, and I love it. But then you also, so two questions come to mind. Number one would be, I would like you to answer. Number one would
Yeah.
be, um, you spoke of trust, yeah, and from everything you've said, there's a lot of trust. There's a lot of concern for the consumer.
Actually, for both parties, but go ahead.
Okay, so maybe it's my understanding,
Mhm.
right? It's a lot of concern for the consumer, and I'm thinking, as a vendor, how do I also trust? Because again, it's like you said, it is a new market. It is not a market that has a lot of competition or competitors, right?
Mhm.
So how do I trust this escrow so much to have them handle my money and not think that maybe one day I wake up and they're not there anymore?
Mm.
So
Interesting.
how do you convince the vendor to believe that you can trust me too?
That's a very interesting question. Very, very
Mm.
interesting question. But we struggled with this for like the first 2-3 months,
Mm.
right? We just started making sense of it in January, when we went the influencer route, right? Between October, November, December, we're doing ads. We're doing ads. People will reach out that, hey, I love this. Tell me more about it, and then, they would. I mean, they will also ask. They will ask these questions, right? But yeah. So I mean, yeah. So that's issue lingered until we started working with like influencers in December. So we decided. So in January, we decided to niche down, right? To look at, okay, which segments of this market do we want to focus on first, or
Mm.
like the online business market we focus on first.
Mm.
And really look for influencers in that space,
Mm.
to like put their personal brand behind us,
Mhm.
right? So when we did that, we saw more acceptance, from vendors that, oh, okay, I mean, I know this influencer that is associated with.
So when you niche down, what segment of the market did
Yeah,
you?
so mini importation market.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so people that like import stuff from China. So they
Mhm.
all have like very, very tight knit communities.
Mhm.
So they're the ones that we focused on. But then, I mean, the question about trust also boils down to regulation, right? And compliance. I am sure that I mean, we are currently working on getting a couple of licenses,
Yeah.
right? But I mean, I'm
I
sure
think
that
so.
as the market also what's the word now, as it evolves and grows, I mean, we can trust our CBN. They're always
Mm.
looking for um
Mm.
for loopholes or
Mm.
for. I mean, they work very hard and they do their work diligently. Sometimes over diligently.
Yeah. Because I mean that popped in my head because you had also mentioned the fact that a certain bank is trying to do the same thing. I'm like,
Mm.
so if I was honestly, if I didn't know you, if I was a vendor and these are the options, I would rightly want to put my money with a bank
With about
because I feel like there's the name, there's equity, there's all of
yeah,
that great
yeah,
stuff.
all of
So
that
I
stuff.
can
Yeah.
walk into a bank, one of their branches, and scream if I don't see.
If
You know what I
mm,
mean?
yeah,
If
true.
if it comes down to that,
Mm.
as against these other guys, even though
Well,
maybe you've been
things
there
have
for.
changed. Today, I mean, not many users. How many people use OPay today? OPay has
OP now has like actual. I mean, even though the people always go there and cry, but they actually have like actual
physical offices.
Yes,
I mean, I know Lai went to one recently.
oh, he did.
Yes, now there was a
Okay.
video he released
Okay,
where he I think
he did the job for
did a
them.
job for them. Yeah,
Yeah, so I
where,
saw one around where I stay. I'm like, okay, that's it. Okay, that's interesting.
yeah.
So and that also that alone is enough to build trust.
I
Just
mean,
that. Well,
people.
but that's a bad.
I think that Nigeria, like the Nigerian, I mean, I think Nigeria operates one of the most exciting banking systems,
Yeah.
right? I mean, this is very open. Like people can just come in and build stuff, and I mean, look at OPay, look at Cheaper Cash doesn't have I don't know if they do. They probably have a physical office. I don't know where it is. My money is in Cheaper. There's Kuda, there's Palmpay, there are all these people. So people have, I think over the last 3-4 years, people have warmed up to the idea of banking with a
Oh yes,
bank
they have
that doesn't have a physical presence. Yeah,
virtual
yeah,
banks and
virtual bank.
things
I mean,
like
there's
that.
I worked with Prosper for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we currently have a lot of money, couple of millions in Brass. Brass is a bank. I just know- I just I've never tried to search for their physical address, right? So I think people will
Would get it
yeah
eventually.
would get it.
Now, how do you make money? Because the little boy in me that is now thinking, okay, maybe there's something you almost said to me, but I buy something for 20,000. Somebody buys something for 20,000 and they sends the 20K to and then I mean obviously what you're remitting to the buyer is the same amount. So except there's something that I don't know that you haven't said.
Yeah.
But
there
yeah,
is.
school me. How do you make money?
Yeah, so we charge a percentage per transaction. So
Gotcha.
we're going to charge 2.5%,
Okay.
but capped at 3,000 naira.
Right.
Right. So
Per transaction.
yeah, per transaction. Yeah. So
Okay.
if you do a transaction of 20K, it's just 500 naira escrow fee, and we also designed it such that it's the vendor at the point of creating a payment can choose who pays the transaction fee. Right. So if they choose that I want to pay, that means they'll be getting 19,500. If they
Okay.
choose that it is that the buyer should pay,
So the buyer is paying 20,500.
exactly, yeah. So we'll
Gotcha.
add 500 to the 20K and we'll send them like, hey, pay 20,500 to this, yeah.
Got you. That's because I wasn't.
So, but from I think 2.5% of 120K is 3,000. So that
Hmm.
means from 120K upwards, it's just 3,000.
It's just
Even if it's millions, yeah, just 3,000.
Interesting. And what's the question I wanted to ask you? 4 months, like you said, you've been doing this, and 500 subscribers, and counting,
And counting, yeah.
and counting. Quite interesting. Okay, so what is how the other businesses? So because I looked you up, so I know that I don't know. Have you completely stopped Venia, or is still just there
So-
hoping that?
So the truth is, I mean, my co-founder Olara and I were talking about this the other day, and I think our hearts are still in e-commerce,
Mm.
right? Our hearts are still in e-commerce. 'Cause there's just something about selling products and people actually using them, and they're in people's homes and people are making reviews and recommending it to their people. We are certainly going to pick them up. I mean, if you noticed, we didn't like shut down the pages or anything. They're still there. I mean, they're still there. We will pick up, but it's just not time yet. So, doing building Middleman is sort of like a what's it called now? So it's two things. It's it's like a social impact endeavor for us.
Mm.
To some extent, like okay, this problem is plaguing or plagues the e-commerce industry.
Space.
You know, we understand how products should be built. We know how
Mm.
products should be sold. That
Mhm.
is tech products. You know, and we also understand the e-commerce market. I think let's go solve this. And it's also a get rich endeavor because I mean very few investors will fund a skincare business, right?
Yeah.
Very few investors will fund an e-commerce business. But when you say, hey, I have this app and we have 10,000 vendors using it that we're processing kini kon million transactions per month or per day, you know, just are willing to give you $1 million, $2 million. That, hey, go
Mhm.
build this. This
Mhm.
looks solid.
Mhm.
Yeah. So if you got if you go blue for this country, let's go.
Let's go this route.
Let's go and do tech. When we blow in tech,
You
we
can
use the money to
now
continue.
do
Yeah,
other
to
things and
continue
then
other
branch
things.
out.
Yeah.
That's quite cool. You also said that for every transaction that is processed, there is an account number that is generated.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that there's a new account number every time.
Every time, yeah, the account number expires. It's a virtual account. It's not
Oh,
exactly.
like a kind of
It's a virtual account. Virtual accounts.
got you. Interesting stuff. Okay, so I know that it. I mean, it sounds rosy. It sounds cool, right? It sounds nice.
It sounds, yeah, it always
Oh,
sounds good.
but I know that there's a lot of work and a lot of stress and tears and just like
Yeah, there is.
that goes on behind the scenes.
There is.
So for building Middleman, what were those things that were you at any point tired? Like, we're like, "Ah, are you sure this thing?"
So I think I've been tired lately. I started getting tired recently,
Mm.
like a couple of weeks ago. Um. mm, hmm. Okay, so building when we're still building. I mean, we spent how many months building the app? I think about 6 months. It should have taken 3 months. The first struggle that we had was getting a very good back end engineer. Who I mean, at the time we had not raised money, so we didn't let, so and we needed someone that could say, hey, you know what, I'll build for you, pay me later, right? It was tough. So the first person we got, I mean, I won't go into the details, but yeah, but we sort of wasted like the first 3 months. We didn't. I mean, we got good people, but they're not very available. And when someone has a job that's paying him good money, I've got assistants sit down with, yeah, do you guys? So it was pretty tough, but eventually, we got an amazing guy who who joined us and was like, you know what, about no worry, let's do this thing together. I've also so a lot of people on the team currently are people who also just want to solve the problem, right? It was tough getting here, and I think it has contributed to our very fast growth. In the past couple of months, our designer, as our product designer, UI designer is a friend, an old friend, a lady. She's an old friend, a lady. Yeah, let's leave it as friends. Yeah, it's an old friend.
Okay. Thank
Our
you, our old friend.
our front end guy, who is also our lead engineer, engineering lead, is my cousin, Abe. Thank you, Abe. And our PM is one amazing guy that reached out to me on LinkedIn. So the thing about me is that I love to. So when I decided to do this, I started writing about it on LinkedIn. Right, so I was telling the stories of how I was thinking about building it, the entire journey and thought process around how I want to be designed, and you know, um, people sort of fell in love with. Okay, this guy is doing this, and I mean, I have like 3,000 plus people on my newsletter, who I always send updates to that, hey, this is where we are right now. People like are sort of excited about the idea of Middleman, right? So you reach out and I'm like, hey, bro, Alpha, I want to be part of this. I've learned PM. I'm trying to break into tech space. Don't pay me. I don't want an IRA. Let me just be part of this. And I'm like, I mean, of course we pay him because I don't like free work, right? It's not very. I mean, if you at least a monthly stipend, yeah.
Mhm.
So we yeah. So yeah, so amazing guy. He also joined us. So I think I'll say building the team was tough in the beginning, but still compared to struggles that other early stage startups face, I think it has also been relatively easy. So but the current so another challenge that we faced over the last couple of months now since we launched is challenge of so people want mobile apps. Right, what we currently have is a web app. That is, you have to open your browser and log in, blah blah blah. And from the feedback we've gotten, people are asking, the app is not. Almost everyone that has heard about has come back with, the app is not on the Play Store or on the Apple Store. Where is it? Do you get? I'm like, oh, it's still a website for now. Like, okay. So, but I think we're going to get more adoption when we launch our mobile, which should be ready by the end of February.
Okay.
God's grace, yeah, we're almost there. Yeah, and then so those are like the two challenges that we are currently facing, and of course we also need funds. I grossly underestimated how much it costs to run a startup. Right, I mean when we started raising angel funds, I sort of did not want to. We don't want to take too much money. We wanted to just raise something small, see if it works, see if people use it, so that we don't take on too much, risk and responsibility. So we raised like very little money, about 25K, but mine almost finished. Mine almost finished. And we legit thought it will last us like 8 months, spending it small. But then it's expensive. It's expensive, yeah. So now I understand people that go on to raise, 300K, 500K, in pre-seed. But I used to think, what do you need this kind of money for?
But now you know.
But now I know. Now I know.
Right.
And also that costs. I mean, AWS bill itself will almost finish you. When Amazon sends their cloud bill, it's in thousands of dollars. It's crazy. It's crazy.
But anyway, you're doing it, and I mean, from what I gather, you have passion for it, and it's not something that according to you, it is a social what again?
Yeah, it's a social cause. It's a social impact endeavor.
So
the goal for us right now is to pretty much stay alive long enough for the markets to be ready. So I've realized over the last couple of months, this thing is a long game.
Yeah.
If I was talking with a friend this morning, we need side hustle.
Honestly,
I need to build something on the side that I need the side also. I need the side also. They can fund it also.
But I mean, good luck to you. I know that it's a fantastic idea.
The problem exists.
The problem exists,
and
you are creating a solution for it. And good luck with the competition that you're going to have.
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm going to keep my eyes fixed on that one. I want to see how that. But I just feel like there's just something about what's the word, having the heart for it. I mean, yes, ideas. I tell people that one idea is not for one person. You can get the idea now, and so many people get the idea as well, right?
Yeah.
But then when you have the heart for it, and you actually start the way you started, and you're just grinding literally, and someone just boom, comes from nowhere and thinks that they can throw in millions. I don't think that the zest will be the same. And there's just something about that hunger. That
someone told me that too.
Yeah, there's something about that hunger and zest that just always keeps you right. And good luck to you, Sha. That's what I can say.
Thank you. We need all the luck that you can get.
Business is hard. Anyways, thank you for coming. This was a very interesting conversation. And I look forward to seeing Middleman on huge billboards and big TV ads and on randomly on YouTube, but also like a Middleman ad, and all that great stuff, events and all. I mean everything.
Thank you.
Everything.
I'm looking forward to it.
And I know that there are opportunities that even might not be as big, but opportunities that I know that you can tap from and just plug. Because, partnerships, things like that.
I mean, there's something we're currently pursuing with one of the telcos. I mean, we also took this feedback from just listening to rumors, and I mean, it's the same question you raised about how do I trust Middleman, right? And since the real value that we're really offering, or the real solution, or the problem solve the problem of trust, we sort of need the backing of. I realize the backing of an already established brand, trusted brand, that can say that we can sort of you know, like a rub off on us,
Yeah.
such that people will just accept it. Yeah. So I mean, and it's either a bank or a telco.
Telco.
I think these are like the two, two industries or two whatever that has like nationwide coverage.
Mhm.
Yeah. So currently pushing something with one of the telcos. They are supposed to invest a lot of money in our marketing, and co-brand and all that
Mhm.
stuff. Looking forward to that.
Yeah,
too.
I think that would. I mean, your colors are green and white.
Yeah, green,
I-
green and
I- I-
beige. Is it
Beige, that's
or
beige.
grey?
My is green.
Yeah, green. Yeah.
I have a telco in mind already, but it's what I'm just. This is the marketer in me looking at the brand fit already in my head. But yeah, yeah,
Right.
just it will work out.
Yeah,
It will work out
it's
seamlessly.
it's better does.
Yeah,
Better does.
just get your marketing right, and get the proposals right. Everything will fall in place. That's what it is. But thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
And
I
I just,
appreciate it.
what was the handle, your handle and Middleman's handle?
Okay, my handle is at on IG at Adeola Owosho.
Mhm.
I think Adeola.Owosho. There's a dot in the middle. Or just search Father Figure. That's my name.
Father figure, love it.
Father Figure. Yeah. Both on IG and on Twitter. Father Figure.
Okay.
And Middleman. So it's Middleman with 3 Ds. I think I should mention that.
Oh,
So we are the D in the middle.
love it.
This is us.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's
Nice
three
brand.
3 Ds, not two
Not 2 Ds.
Yeah,
Okay, so add
Just 2
Middleman
Ds.
on with 3 Ds
with 3 Ds.
on Instagram. All right, and that's the much we can take. I'm going to see you guys in the next episode.